May I please call upon stage the esteemed presence of Kamal Mukherjee, filmmaker, author, former editor, Stardust, and producer on stage. He'll be joined by the likes of Akshay, Bardapurkar, head and founder Planet Marathi, Abhayanand Singh, co-founder and group CEO Vistas Media Capital. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. This session is going to be about how Planet Marathi has progressed and grown over the years. So Ramda, the stage is all yours. I request you to take it forward.
So, from good morning to good evening, it's been a long day. And once again, I'm very happy to grace the stage with two visionaries. And of course, our title sponsor, Planet Marathi, for whom or for them we have this show today, India Web Fest. So thank you for being the title sponsor.
Thank you.
Hello. Being the last session and being the most important session probably, we would like to kind of, I would like to start with you. In a country like India, where language plays a very important role for consumers, particularly consumers who are in the field of audiovisual. How did you plan to have an OTT which is specifically in Marathi language? And what were your vision and what were the hurdles that you faced? And how did you sustain your dream?
Yeah, it's a mix of, I think, 3-4 questions. OTT happened because of the pure love towards Marathi content. Also, one more thing, probably the audience and the people at large haven't really figured that in Marathi, in the past, there has been no OTT. There's been no platform like the way other languages probably had. And we, in a way, decided that this thought came to us that, we should be the first ones who should take the plunge into this. That is exactly when we actually reached out to Vistas and Abhay. We all did our study, we all did our math, we did everything possible, and we realized that Maharashtra is the second largest or the third largest state in the country, as big as probably one of the countries in Europe or probably
Absolutely.
in Asia. What else do you want? You have the audience ready, you have the great actors, great directors, great makers. All of this is there. The full ingredient is there. The only thing that you need to do is focus on content, good content, and just go for the kill. And because there was no precedence to anything before, there was nothing in the Marathi space, because Marathi is technically or always been known for its theater, the natak or the play that we call. Then you had majority of your audience which is home-based, watching television, prime time, and those typical serials which we all watch at home. And then there is theater. So the theater wasn't really evolved over the years, maybe a few Serat and 3-4, I'm talking about a span from 2006 to 2016. The only film which actually crossed the entire, let's say, the turnover of this 10 years was Serat. So that is where we were until 2016. After 2016 also it did not change much, but at least we got that power to create cinemas. But then that's it. But where would the young generation go? Somebody who wanted to graduate from doing films and nataks and everything. What do they do with it? I mean, YouTube was growing very, very fast. You have this hyper-local, very, very rural kind of content doing extremely well. But they're all limited to YouTube. So that's where we, in a way, during COVID, we jointly, released one film, ABNECD, with the great Amitabh Bachchan and Vikram Gokhleji. Unfortunate that we released it on the same muhurat of COVID lockdown. It was that's very day when the COVID was announced. And when our digital rights got kind of licensed and sold, that is where we, so I always say that, most of the people in the country or in Maharashtra or in the Marathi circuit, I tell them that while everyone was crying that, there's no money and there were losses and all that, we were the only one who got paid and we got money.
So is it because of Mr. Abhayanand Singh, the co-founder and group CEO of Vistas Media Capital? I mean, congratulations, sir, and I think we need more and more people like you to kind of also boost all the languages in India. I mean, it's really sad that me being a filmmaker, I have realized, it's a very small incident which I'm going to share, and then I'm going to ask you the question that as a filmmaker, I have made films in Hindi precisely and also in Bengali, and I'm planning to do something in Marathi. So only in India, when we create content, we do ask what language. It is very unfortunate because when my film Rikshawala, which is a Bengali film, it went at Melbourne International Film Festival and at many international film festivals. When I see the list of names with other international films, I see Rikshawala, director's name, India with a national flag. That makes me feel proud. So beyond our country, all kind of content that we make are seen or evaluated as Indian language content. And to kind of increase the base or increase the digital content, we need to kind of look into regional language, and that is very important. Thanks to Akshay and Abhay both for their forthcoming OTT platform, which is Planet Bharat, which I'm going to kind of ask you. And maybe that's the kind of platform which he's going to talk in detail about, and he's also going to share in detail about. That's the platform, that's the kind of platform which was missing in our country, which in truest form is probably, talking about the spirit of India. So, Abhay, please tell us about your journey.
Firstly, thanks for having me here. So, we are a Singapore-based media entertainment company wherein we invest, we build and scale up ventures in the space of media entertainment. This was started by three of us. Two of us are ex-bankers, one of us is a creative guy. And we felt that there was a need to bridge the gap between the creative world and the finance world, which is why we started Vistas. We've always tried to build an ecosystem. So just to give an example, our production house called Golden Issue Films can produce a Marathi movie. The post-production can be done by our animation VFX company called Paperboard Design. At the time of the release, our social media marketing can be done by Daiquiri, our social media agency. If it wins an award, it can be at our own award festival called Critics' Choice Film Awards. If it goes to a festival, it can be our own festival called Singapore South Asian International Film Festival. And if it does well, we can sell some NFTs on Fantico. And if any of this becomes big or all of it becomes big, we can also have the capability to list it anywhere in the world. So that's the background with which we started this venture. And we were in the middle of COVID, and we were doing a transaction in UAE. There's a company called Angami, which is the first Arab tech company to go public on NASDAQ. We were taking them public, and we saw some data of theirs. They had 55 million tracks in English. 1% of that was in Arabic language. But that 1% gave them 50% of the revenues, right?
Wow.
That kind of opened our eyes on why we can't replicate that in India and how important vernacular and local language content is. And as luck would have it, we have been working with Akshay on 3 movies that we did together in Marathi. He came up with this idea, and we were already ready anyways.
True, but taking a cue from what you just said, Abhay, that, and which I also agree, and probably he also agrees, that regional content needs to be pushed, needs to be promoted. But now with, of course, what you did with Marathi is fabulous, and I'm sure you're going to continue with that. But with Bharat, the new channel that is coming up, if you both could share by turn about maybe, from the investor's point of view, that what are you looking at, what kind of, expectations you have And from a creative point of view or content point of view, what is it that is going to be completely different from what you're already catering to your audiences? So you would start?
So we are technically we've finished. I mean, this is our second anniversary year, so we've taken a big leap in a way of launching a Planet Bharat simply because we know that what is that. See, audiences across India is the same, right? You know, we all love content, so it's a content-loving country. What we realized is, and this is actually a business decision which we took together. We were in the process of thinking of launching or announcing different planets like Planet Gujarat, Planet Bhojpuri, Planet Punjabi, and everything. Then Abhayanand, we all sat down and this question I think probably is to Abhay why he decided to have everything integrated in one app and call it as Bharat. So.
Yeah, so, over the last 3-4 years, we've come across opportunities to invest into various regional OTT platforms. And I just thought that collectively, with all languages coming together, there will be economies of scale. More importantly, it's the best time ever that we've seen when content has started to travel across languages, across countries. So we said, why do we not have a platform wherein all of this local language content can come together, narrate stories from the heartland. And there's always a shortage of content, I believe. Consumers, you think of it, right? Let's say there are 10 OTT platforms in the country. They do probably one series a month, so that's 120 series. We make 1,800 movies in a year, right? And when one consumer goes in that month to watch something on one of the OTT platform, and if it is not a genre that he likes, then he has nothing to watch, right?
Exactly.
So I thought there was still a gap wherein there's still many stories to be told. Many content creators are not able to reach out to many OTT platforms. So there's a large number of stories that need a destination or a home. And Planet Marathi is that for us, wherein we will, in a way, celebrate the cultural diversity that we have in our local languages.
And thank you for that. And so asking about the content, so since you already have Planet Marathi, Planet Bharat will also have Marathi, or barring Marathi, you will cover all other languages of India?
I think for now, Planet Marathi remains as a separate company, separate app, and separate, different. It continues as it is. With Planet Bharat, I think the whole intention is to get into the rural part of, India, more hyper-local, more central. You can have a Haryanvi, you can have Odia, a Rajasthani, a Gujarati, and all of that. So, getting regional in the whole big Bharat is what the plan is.
That's brilliant, but how will you, zero down on the content? What is your roadmap? What's your plan to kind of, so for example, if I ask you both that in a month, because we have almost 26 to 27 official languages, regional languages in our country. So are we going to get those many number of content in every month from one from every language? Or is it going to be like a mixed bag, or how are we going to kind of function it?
Well, I think, we just announced Planet Bharat, so we've really not gone ahead and, discussed. There's a content team which is going to come up. There's a lot of things, we have to sit down and plan across. But yes, the plan is that we launch it on the 26th of Jan next year. So by then,
You'll have a plan.
We'll have a plan.
Great. Coming back to Planet Marathi, that what are the kind of genres that you feel is there, but probably, you can explore more, or you can give the Marathi audience something unique which they have not seen or they have not viewed on other platforms. So this question goes to you. That what are the Marathi content that you think different, like in Planet Marathi, that what else can we kind of provide to the subscribers, and what are the new things that you are thinking in terms of genres, in terms of content, that which you have in your plan for the coming year?
So the first 2 years up till now was focused completely on the fiction content. From now on, here on, we now enter into the second phase of developing and creating and curating non-fiction content. So if you ask me specifically, are you going to, and you know, we going to see more of web series or more of chat shows and typically those
Short films
and all of that.
feature
so
films.
So over the 2 years, we realized that there has to be an engagement. You have users, you have downloads, and you have subscribers. So what happens is that non-fiction draws the audience towards the app, and then it gets converted into subscription for many reasons. And our non-fiction, we just started 2 months back, and we've got very, very good,
Which is the show that you...
so we did one chat show with Jayanti called as Patla Tar Gaya. It's the only chat show which is basically happening, in the OTT space. Then we did something, which is like a travel show, focused more on the Konkan region. Now we go from every part of Maharashtra. We are doing India's first ever Marathi talent hunt, or we call it as Planet Talent Superstars, wherein typically we will have the actor and the actress, the final winner, being launched with a platform, and
lovely.
and they've been given a web series or a film.
Oh, super.
So that is going to happen, and that's going to be pan Maharashtra. What it also allows is, because we are a global app, our presence is in 200 countries. So we also can have students, or the people who keep interest in acting, they can also come and participate. Then we are now just introduced gamification, some games into our app. So all of these things is going to be so what I call it as Planet Marathi 2.0. So this is going to be our next entry.
Superb. I would also like to know that since most of the platforms, like the existing platforms, they are kind of, little inclined towards stars and Bollywood actors. And you cannot deny the fact that Bollywood is a part of Maharashtra, and there is some sort of a synergy between the Marathi cinema and Hindi cinema that we get to see. So do you also feel that you can probably, like how you said, that maybe the timing was wrong, but you had Mr. Bachchan, doing something for your channel, which is A, B, C, D, Tak, or something like that. So, so are you looking at more of collaboration with Bollywood to attract more subscriber, more attention? Do you have that in plan? Do you have anything in mind?
I don't think we are, we really want to kind of cater or focus on one particular film industry. See, we did Ran Bazaar, and it really, we got calls from Pailaj Nilani and so many big people, and Sunil Shetty, and all of them, everyone loved it. So our intention was not to, chalo yaar, Bollywood ko takkar dete. It was an intention that, we create good content. But it traveled. We are getting offers to, remake those into Telugu and Malayalam and Tamil and everything. So if you make good content, I think you really don't need to focus on something. Yes, maybe that question would be more correct when we launch Bharat. That's when we will target the Bollywood industry, but it is not going to be, because it doesn't really matter in the web space. It doesn't really matter. Maybe in the theater it can, but in the web space I really don't think so. It is the content that really works for us.
My another question, which I always wanted to know, that when we create national content, we don't know what exactly a regional market is seeking. But when you actually create a regional content which is catered to a certain TG, to a certain target audience, then you probably know that what exactly your region is wanting or seeking to kind of watch. So what is your study of Marathi audience? What is it that they were missing? What is it that it was lacking that they are coming to Planet Marathi and watching and enjoying? And probably you will cater more to it.
So a lot of things have been not, because like I said that cinemas was not doing well. The next one which was doing really well was the typical serials that even today people watch fondly. Where was the youth in this whole thing? Things that you watch on other OTTs was missing. There was a huge gap. There was a void. There was nothing at all. I mean, this question, if at all anyone here or outside, just go and ask that if Planet Marathi wouldn't have been there, which other platform was kind of doing a Marathi web series or a web show or a non-fiction show? There was none. So the answer itself lies in this.
That is true. Abhay, I would say that, as an investor, of course, you have your plans in mind. But when it comes to catering a certain section, most of the investors have a bit of hesitation that, we are kind of limiting the audience. But it is great that you have actually stood by and you've understood probably the potential of the regional market. And henceforth, I think you're taking a leap to Planet Bharat. So as an investor, as a person who is supporting these kind of content, what are the challenges that you had in mind, and how did you kind of, structure your entire idea of investment in a regional content?
I used to run a hedge fund before this. So the day I decided to start making movies, I left my hesitation behind. I knew what I was jumping into. And, our whole idea of getting into Planet Marathi was, like Akshay mentioned, there wasn't enough representation of Marathi content to start with on many of the OTT platforms then and even today for that matter. And two, it's like, you can have coffee here in the restaurant, but you still go to Starbucks when you want to really have special coffee. So when you want something which kind of speaks to your heart, in a language that you've grown up with, there is a tendency, to go to that platform to watch it. And we started with, Planet Marathi, like we mentioned. We were pretty sure that we'll fill in a gap that, was clearly evident that existed. And that was good enough for us to take risks, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you have done your research and your survey, and then you jumped into it. You were not doing it like that. And coming on to the last segment of our chat show today, or our conversation today, that when you plan something, when you know that you are catering to a niche audience, what are the challenges that a content creator faces with the big fish in the market? Like you have, I can probably, at the risk of taking names, when you have a Netflix, when you have an Amazon, who are also catering to a certain amount of regional language, and they have humongous budget, and they have set a standard where audiences are probably, used to see a production of a certain kind, which probably a regional OTT channel with limited resource will not be able to match up with the production value. So there is always this war of a big fish and a small fish. So when you start a niche product, what are the challenges that you faced as a content creator, or you didn't face, or there was a different strategy for you to kind of deal with?
It's actually the other way around. They lose a lot of money by doing big shows, and we actually, whenever we want to, our process is so defined, that we actually think of ideas, and that's the good part about doing what you're doing, right?
Absolutely.
We know Maharashtra very well. I'm not here to judge anyone, but we know Maharashtra much better than any other
course.
platforms here. And we know what has to be created. So for example, I can create specific story meant for Vidarbha, which is like a, let's say 3 and 4 crore population. I've had so many, stories coming in from Vidarbha. We have so many, stories coming from Marathwada. We have so many stories coming from Mumbai itself and Pune. So depending upon the budgets, depending upon the funds that we have, we know that we'll make probably 1 or 2, but they're not going to fail. And that is probably one of the reasons I feel that, you should also not have too much of money.
Yeah, so, yeah, you can clap.
In limited resources, you should do the best.
Yes. So coming on to the last segment of today's evening, which was a successful evening, I guess. Congratulations, Siddharth, once again.
Thank you.
We have always seen or realized that content, if created well, can really go beyond borders, beyond states. And I think what Akshay and Abhay are trying to do is probably build that bridge and probably create that universal content platform which will in future not have any limitation or any regional barrier for the consumers or the subscribers. That is very important, I feel personally. And with Abhay, who is supporting these kind of content, I think we have a brighter future ahead in the digital world. And that brings to the last segment of this year's India Web Fest. I would like to thank you all for your patience, for being a part of this lovely journey, because it was a lovely, lovely, lovely evening with you all. Thank you so much.